Welcome to the Gen X Journey podcast. Dive into all things important to Gen Xers, from advice on aging parents, expert interviews, product reviews, and heartfelt conversations. So put down the joystick, grab your Walkman, dust off your old yearbooks, and welcome to the Gen X Journey.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to this episode of the Gen X Journey podcast. Today, we are continuing our 3-episode story of the 40th anniversary of Live Aid. And so, Noel, let me turn it over to you to tee up today's episode and what we're talking about.
So today, I mean, there were over 70 performances at Live Aid. We didn't think we could go through all 70. Didn't think you'd want to listen to all 70. So we narrowed this list down to the top 15. And so you may be wondering, or maybe you're not wondering, but how did we come up with this list? Well, we used AI. We used ChatGPT to come up with this list. So if you disagree with this, then you're disagreeing with artificial intelligence. So I don't know what to tell you. But we're going to talk about the top 15. And Steve, I think you're going to start with number 15.
Absolutely. I'm going to take us through 15 through 11 on this list.
Okay.
And the cool thing is we're going to tell you, first of all these performances are available on YouTube. So we'll tell you what the search terms are if you want to look this up on YouTube and enjoy the performance from 40 years ago. Then now you can do it. All right. Number 15. Yeah, we were just talking about this. I always felt this was an odd couple right here, but number 15 was Tina Turner and Mick Jagger. They performed at JFK Stadium. And really the reasons why you want to watch this one, it was a wild, high energy duet. They even rip each other's clothes off, which is sort of weird. There was some electrifying.
Yeah. This is the the inventory.
Wardrobe malfunctions were okay.
Yeah.
Wardrobe malfunction. There you go.
Wow.
That they did have electrifying chemistry on State of Shock, and it's only rock and roll. So definitely, in my opinion, a must watch at number 15 on the list. Search Mick Jagger, Tina Turner, Live Aid. You'll see a theme.
I like the fact that this also categorizes exactly which venue each one was in. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's funny because I would think Mick Jagger being in London, but I guess he comes over to do things apparently with Tina Turner. So that makes it more interesting. So that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. So number 14 on the list was Crosby, Stills, and Nash, and they performed at JFK, and iconic group. So why to watch? Of course, the tight harmonies and classic 60s, 70s energy. They were a throwback to Woodstock with a strong performance of Sweet Judy Blue Eyes. And I'm going to have to look that song up. But if you want to watch the performance, search on YouTube, Crosby, Stills, Nash, Live Aid, and enjoy that moment.
I think this is kind of an interesting one because this one does harken back to the Woodstock Festival, because I think it was Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young at that point that played. And kind of an interesting throwback. You think about these amazing, legendary live concerts. I could honestly say probably for the generation before us, that would have been Woodstock, And so pretty neat to kind of cross that bridge between what would they be considered, the boomers, the boomer era of music, and then our era, Gen X era of music. So yeah, from the 60s Woodstock to the 80s Live Aid. Pretty interesting. So, okay. What's next, Steve?
So number 13 on the list is Neil Young, who also
Speaking of Young and Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young.
Yeah. So he performed at JFK Stadium as well. And he performed a soulful solo set, including Helpless, which is, low key, but beautiful. I'll admit I'm not as plugged into Neil Young in my whole musical playlist, but I'm probably gonna run through all 15 of these and watch them on YouTube.
Why not?
Yeah, why not? That's what I do on whiskey night. But
yeah, exactly. Hey, you and I, we've had many a rabbit hole on YouTube on whiskey night.
Yeah, we have. So obviously, if you want to find this on YouTube, search Neil Young Live Aid 1985.
Nice.
Cool. And now number 12 on the list, and this one's really cool because this is very early in this musician's career, and this a performance by Madonna, also at JFK Stadium. So the reason to watch, she was just becoming a superstar. She had a confident performance of Holiday and Into the Groove. No, know you want to sing Holiday.
I am singing it in my head. I'm not going to.
You know,
I'm
take
not
It's
it.
giving you
taking
guys more
every ounce of
content.
Noel's
Hear
energy
it.
to not sing
It
out loud right
is.
now.
It
Holiday.
is.
Celebrate.
I'm not going to do
Of course, the crowd loved her. I mean, she was when she launched her career, she was a refreshing new act, a voice that you hadn't heard before, and so definitely an iconic and an early huge moment for her in her career at Live
Mhm.
Aid. So if you want to find her, obviously search for Madonna Live Aid 1985.
You figure that's probably the equivalent of the U2 side over on the other side of the pond, somebody getting a stellar rise to fame at this
Yeah,
point.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. This next one at number 11, I love that they're in the top 15 list.
Mhm.
You know, I can never not just laugh and smile when I listen to them perform. That's Run DMC. And they performed at JFK Stadium. So the reason to watch, they were one of the only hip hop acts at the event, and probably one of the few hip hop acts really. They sort of set the hip hop
Mhm.
trend, but they were historic for bringing rap into a traditionally rock heavy show, and of course, you know what an iconic group they are. So.
Mhm.
So if you want to watch them on YouTube, search Run DMC Live Aid 1985.
You know, and it's
Cool.
interesting because I can't help but think that if this thing ran today, would it be reversed where most of it would be hip hop something or other with maybe one rock episode? It's like, could you? I think about the artist today. You'd have everything hip hop, then Taylor Swift, then maybe a country artist that's famous, and then maybe a callback to like the Crosby, Stills, Nash version of Us. Like, what would that be? Motley Crue, Guns N' Roses. You know what I mean? It would be completely
Mm-hmm.
flip flopped with the artists that are out right now, I think.
Yeah, definitely
True.
pop heavy for sure these
Mm-hmm.
days. And a lot of songs we have no idea what they're saying.
So number 10 was Paul McCartney from Wembley Stadium. Of course, he was a Beatle, so it makes sense that he was performing in England. So he performed "Let It Be" as the final act in London. So he brought down the house at the very end, closed the thing up, was the closer. Incidentally, his mic cut out briefly during his performance, but the crowd totally carried it, which was a really cool, kind of a neat, unifying kind of historical moment that happened there, just sort of spontaneously too. So that was really cool.
I was reading up on this, and they really wanted him to kind of instill some legendary nobility into the show over there. So they wanted to have a Beatle-esque closer. So that was definitely a good way to ring in the legend of what this show is all about, with some of the people who were more of the, I mean, you think about it, some of the more maybe financier heavy, maybe had a little bit bigger pockets. So they wanted to have people that could relate to that too, instead of just the younger crowd.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, I don't know about y'all, but yeah, I know "Let It Be" is probably McCartney's most well-known song.
Mm-hmm.
But I really liked "Maybe It's Amazed," and or maybe I'm amazed. Whatever
Maybe it's
called.
amazing.
There we go. That's what we
there
wanted
it
from
is.
Noel Kirsch
We've been
right there.
waiting.
I had to bait
Glad I
Noel,
could
and it
help.
was a success. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Our
How
audience
does that
finally gets the
song
Noel
go?
Kirsch singing moment they
Oh,
want.
I don't know all the lyrics, but the ones I know, which is about 3 words, I'll sing it. But and the rest of the time is something else.
Nailed it though.
Anyway, all right. So if you want to watch that Paul McCartney performance, just go to YouTube and search up Paul McCartney. Let It Be Live Aid. Number 9 on the list was The Who. The Who.
Who?
The Who from Wembley Stadium, of course. They were British, still are. So their set was plagued by power outages, but they delivered an intense performance of My Generation and Won't Get Fooled Again, a raw, powerful moment from rock legends. Incidentally, there were quite a few technical glitches during the concerts. Imagine this is it's a pretty huge feat to pull off. And they were constantly going, so there were some glitches, and like I said, the power outage went out during the Who's performance, but really good performance nonetheless. And if you want to watch that, it's on, you just search the Who Live Aid 1985.
Yes. Great show.
Number 8 band is one of my favorites. I love this band, Dire
Me too.
Straits.
Same.
And Sting was performing with them, which is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
I watched this video of their performance at Live Aid in preparation for today, and it's cool. I forgot that Sting was on. I'm like, hey, wait a second, I didn't know he was in Dire Straits. But anyway, it's a very smooth, classy performance, featuring, of course, "Money for Nothing" with Sting singing the intro, which is a cool collaboration. Just wonderful musicianship. It's awesome. So search up Dire Straits Live Aid 1985.
And Sting's in the actual recording of "Money for Nothing" too, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Hey, Noel, who's your favorite, or what's your favorite Dire Straits song?
I think "Money for Nothing's got to be it.
Yeah, I like.
What about you?
Sultans of Swing.
Oh,
Sultans of Swing.
The guitar on that. Yeah. If you ever watch Mark Knopfler on YouTube doing that, it is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Holy cow. I mean, it depends on the day. If you ask me which one's my favorite, I love "Walk of Life" and I love the song "So Far Away." Those are probably two that you haven't mentioned. There are some of my others. It's just a fantastic band. Wow.
Just love the video for "Money for Nothing." I think that's what got me. It's just insane. Iconic. For back in those days. I mean, they were way ahead of their time.
Yeah. Totally.
So, and then number 7 was USA for Africa finale. So this was in JFK Stadium. If you've never seen, "We Are the World" and that song they sang for that was pretty phenomenal. Yeah. But there were a lot of American musicians, and most of them were there to come together to sing "We Are the World." It was sentimental. How they just made a new word. Sentimental, powerful, and a perfect close to the show. So over in England, they had Paul McCartney singing "Let It Be" as the end to the English side of this, and then they on the American side had saying "We Are the World" to close it out on the American side. So pretty appropriate ending for both sides.
Super strong, man. Yeah.
Yep. Number 6 is Eric Clapton. This is, of course, in JFK. He had a solid guitar-driven blues rock performance, including a great version of "Layla."
What version of "Layla" isn't great? Let's just be honest.
Very true. I love Eric Clapton.
Me too.
I was thinking of "Layla" as very much part of the college soundtrack.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was always on.
Oh yeah, the unplugged version especially. Yeah, absolutely.
Very cool.
Clapton's awesome.
Keith,
okay, so let's round out the 5, and number 5 is the one that we spoke about a little bit in the last episode with Phil Collins, and that was the Led Zeppelin reunion, quote unquote, tongue in cheek. So Led Zeppelin, as we talked about before, the late great John Bonham, that was the drummer for Led Zeppelin, had passed away, and I think it was around 80. And Phil Collins decided that with his tour, and actually what was interesting is this was what kind of teed up Collins to do both sides of the pond, because initially Robert Plant, the lead singer of Led Zeppelin, had asked him to join him on stage. And that's kind of where this whole thing spawned, with Phil Collins taking over as the drums. He actually also introduced the band as a reunion at that time. So and we've talked a little bit about this. It was a pretty rough concert episode, but the fact that it was Led Zeppelin reuniting was in itself phenomenal. But it was kind of technically rough around the edges, but still cool to see the Led Zeppelin folks live again, seeing all those great legendary artists there, Jimmy Page, Robert Plant, and then also having Phil Collins flying between both areas and jumping in on the drums for them. Definitely some blame there between band members and Phil Collins of why it went south, but it's still iconic performance. So the next one, which I think is one of the best performances of this tour, and it's at number 4, and that is George Michael and Elton John at Wembley Stadium. So Elton John's performance at Live Aid was absolutely one of the standout moments, and this was at the Wembley Stadium portion of the show in London. The breakdown of the songs were Benny and the Jets, Rocket Man, and then "Don't Go Breaking My Heart" with Kiki D was another duet that Elton John did. And the final song he did was "Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me" with George Michael. And this was a big deal because at the time, this was George Michael's like pinnacle. He was in the like making it big with Wham, and he had just started his solo career. So that duet with "Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me" was actually the precursor. If you remember the one where George Michael is at the concert, and then he says at the end, "Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Elton John," and the crowd goes wild, and they sing this. So this was kind of the precursor to that concert that happened in around 1991 when that song was released. So pretty interesting there. So very powerful, charismatic, and crowd-pleasing show. Elton John kept it short and energetic, trying to match the format of the day. So I thought that was a pretty cool story about George Michael and Elton John at Live Aid. Both,
very cool.
I mean, two amazing, iconic artists. We'll talk about Queen in a little bit. George Michael had been the frontman for Queen briefly as well. Lots of stuff that came about. And you got to wonder if some of these were some of the inner workings that created those events. You know what I mean? So pretty interesting. So the next person at number 3 is David Bowie. David Bowie was a performer at London's Wembley Stadium, and he was a tough act to follow because he just performed right after the legendary set of U2 and right before The Who, which you mentioned, Noel. So, he was a global superstar, but he delivered a concise and powerful set that blended classic hits with global relevance. So the 4 songs that he did on his set list was TVC 15, Rebel Rebel, Modern Love, and Heroes. And I'll tell you, I am not a big David Bowie fan to the point that I don't know a lot of his stuff, but I do know he was an iconic artist, and Heroes was kind of the emotional peak of the set, kind of talking about the humanitarian purpose of what was going on. And so it fit really well with the Live Aid message. So pretty neat. He was going to do one more song called 5 Years to allow more time to show a moving video about the famine in Africa. But it was actually set to the Cars song Drive by the Cars. But it kind of stunned audiences and helped increase awareness and donations. So he did that instead of his song. So it's kind of interesting. But yeah, David Bowie in the number 3 spot. And you can find him on YouTube on the David Bowie Live Aid 1985. That's what you search for to find the video of that one. So pretty good. So the number 2 one is also, if you asked me, one of my favorite bands of all time, and it's U2. And this was about the time that I had discovered U2, and it really, Joshua Tree was really what got me fascinated with them. But this was right before U2 launched the Joshua Tree in 1986. So the set list was a very short set list with Sunday Bloody Sunday and the song Bad, which was actually performed almost 12 minutes long. And Noel, you brought this up, I think, in our introductory talk about Live Aid, was when Bono jumped into the massive Wembley stage to dance with a fan in the crowd, but he actually physically pulled her out of an event that probably could have killed her. And he danced with her. So it was broadcast live around the world, symbol of compassion and connection. But it actually, it cost U2 the chance to play a third song. They had planned to do Pride in the Name of Love, but because of the drama that happened in that, it didn't work out. But obviously the risk paid off in an unforgettable way, because it's literally one of the most legendary parts of Live Aid, that moment. So pretty interesting. So that was the number 2 performance, and that was U2 at Wembley Stadium. And if you want to find them, search U2 Live Aid 1985. I'm looking at some of the themes for how you search them. Not hard, not rocket science, right? Yep. Name, Live Aid, and the date, right? So the number 1 performance, which is to nobody's surprise, and I don't think that a quick top 10 list of or a top 15 list can do this justice, but it was the Wembley Stadium performance for Queen at Live Aid. And not only has it been listed as the best performance of Live Aid, but it is constantly and consistently listed as the greatest rock performance in history. And if you have seen it, and again, there's the movie called Bohemian Rhapsody. Steve, you mentioned this in an earlier episode. It does it justice, but you have to see the actual. I mean, if you're gonna YouTube one, YouTube the Queen Live Aid 1985 full performance. Make sure you do the full performance, because what you want to see is the sets were going so quickly that it didn't even give the band a chance to warm up or anything. So the introduction of this show is basically Freddie Mercury warming his vocals to a call and answer rendition with the audience. And it's every bit as cool as any of the songs that they perform. Just hearing him do these yodels and them answering back, and the way he can conduct the orchestra or conduct the audience, and just without saying a word, the audience knew immediately what to do in return. And it was just a fantastic performance. So, songs like Radio Gaga, Bohemian Rhapsody, and We Will Rock You are delivered with unbelievable, unmatched energy. And like I say, if you don't watch any other performance at Live Aid, make sure you watch the Queen performance, because it is absolutely one of legend. And I don't know if it'll ever be topped in rock history, for sure.
I mean, iconic. I mean, it was the return of Freddie Mercury.
Mm-hmm.
And they ended up touring for another year before he performed his last concert. But I've watched this video a lot. I'm a huge Queen fan, and I always remember my mom and listening to it when I was a kid, and just it's part of my soundtrack.
Not the sound crap.
Soundtrack growing up. And so definitely a great concert. His connection with the crowd was you're right. I mean, he was like a puppet master the whole time. And so super cool.
It really is. So that rounds out our top 15 best concerts of Live Aid. Good stuff.
Cool. Awesome.
Yeah, excellent.
Good stuff.
Excellent.
So I would love to hear from our listeners. In addition to these, are there other of the concerts that you can really remember fondly, and which one were they? And we'd love for you to post on our social media pages, maybe include a video link on the YouTube page that maybe we could enjoy that along with you. We will certainly try to post the links to each one of these, and I will do a top 15 countdown on our show notes, just so we can have that and links associated with it. So a very fun celebratory time in the history of Gen X, this Live Aid, don't you think, fellas?
Absolutely.
Yep.
Something that will always be remembered fondly. I remember watching it in the living room on the TV that couldn't be moved from the ground because it was so heavy, and the wood cabinet.
Did you have wheels on it, or was it stationary?
No, I mean, there was no looting in my home. None.
Yeah.
There's no way. They would throw it back out if they tried.
It was like a 2-inch dent in the carpet.
I mean, when you moved it, there was like the carpet was like, help me. It was so bad down there.
Underneath the TV, the carpet was brand new.
It was, it's like the color was even different because it has never been moved in 20 years, So, but awesome, guys. Well, that was great. Concludes our Live Aid journey. Enjoy. We will also put a reminder that today is the special anniversary of Live Aid. There's a lot of neat tributes. There's a lot of actual live reenactments of the day that are going to be going on that day. So we'll try to post some links to where you can watch some of those if you so desire. I think it'd be kind of a neat special time to kind of at least maybe listen in on some of those and pretend that you were back there at that time. And we look forward to sharing that with you as well.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
And that concludes it for today. So we will bring you a lot more nostalgic episodes coming up. Send us some messages. Let us know what you'd like us to talk about. We're full of ideas and have a lot of neat things that are coming up, but we'd always love to listen to the beat of our audience and to see what kind of content you'd like us to provide you.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
All right, everybody. Have a wonderful day.
Thanks for listening, everybody. Take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
The views, thoughts, and opinions expressed in the Gen X Journey podcast belong solely to the hosts and guests and do not necessarily represent the views or opinions of any entity they are associated with. The information provided is for entertainment and informational purposes only and should not be considered professional advice. Listeners are encouraged to seek the advice of qualified professionals for any specific issues they may face. The creators and contributors of this podcast make no representations as to the accuracy, completeness, or validity of any information, and will not be liable for any errors, omissions, or any losses, injuries, or damages arising from its use.